Hey everybody, Pastor Greg here. I'm excited about life, and I know that you are too, because life is oh so good and it keeps getting better all the time. Over the past few weeks, I've been sharing with you the Modern Day Millionaire event, which is coming to New York at Carnegie Hall. Bob Proctor, a teacher from The Secret, will be honored. Reverend Michael Beckwith will be a speaker on the second day, another teacher from The Secret. Les Brown will be there. Mary Madden Morrissey will be there. All of these powerful teachers will be here in New York on November 14th and 15th, and we want to see you there. We want to see you there so much that we actually have a special discount code for you. Don't use the one that we gave you last week. This one gets you an even deeper discount. So go to the website, www.moderndaymillionaire.com, and then use the discount code CHURCH, and it will give you an 88% discount off of the ticket price. Also this month, we're featuring and focusing on the book Think and Grow Rich by Pam Grout. If you have a copy of the book, send us a picture. Send us a picture with the book, send us a picture of your receipt, and we will add you to a special Facebook group where you'll be able to post your gratitudes each and every day as we do this 30-day experiment together. I'm so excited about focusing on gratitude this month, not just because it's Thanksgiving month, but because we have so much to be grateful for. Let's get into today's message. Well, it's so good to be here with all of you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Well, as you already know, we're talking about gratitude this month, and we're using the book Think and Grow Rich by Pam Grout. And it's a 30-day experiment. So we're following the instructions in the book to post and share our gratitude for 30 days. So what we've done is we've created a Facebook group for all of us to be able to share our gratitude together. In the book, she says you can find a friend and you can text each other each day. And so in order to get access to the Facebook group, you need to send us proof that you've purchased the book, right? So if you're friends with Pastor Yolanda or myself on Facebook, you can message us, or you can message the CSC Facebook page, and we will add you to the Facebook group. So go out and get the book. If you don't know how to get the book, again, you can go to our website, celebrationsc.org, click store, and it's the very first book there for you to purchase, okay? It's really easy, really simple, all right? So as we're talking about gratitude, we all understand that gratitude is a good thing, right? How many people have had or have done gratitude journals at some point in their lives, right? You know, or maybe taking the time to think about the things that you're grateful for before you go to bed, or write it down, right? We've all done that, you know? Even here at CSC, we've done, oh my goodness, a number of messages on gratitude. I did a quick search this week. We did Gratitude Without Conditions, Gratitude Ninja, Gratitude is a Lifestyle, Gratitude is Not for God, Thank You for My Healing. All of these messages were about gratitude, and one would think that maybe we had said all that could be said about gratitude, but this is so important that I think it's great that we actually give it its own month, its own series. And so as I recognized that, I realized that in order to really get into a series about gratitude, we have to understand the how and the why of gratitude, the mechanics of it. And so we're going to talk about the physics of gratitude today, which I think is incredibly important. Now, in order to understand the physics of gratitude, we got to go back to high school. We got to go back to our high school physics class, because what I understand is in order to really talk about the physics of gratitude, we have to understand this physical principle called momentum. Because if we understand momentum, then we can understand the how and why of gratitude. Now, according to our physics teacher, momentum is mass times velocity. That's what equals momentum, right? Now, it's interesting because we hear that word, we use that word momentum in so many different ways. You know, you could use it in relationship to the election, that a certain candidate has gained momentum because they received a new endorsement from a union, right? Or from some prominent figure. And so we would say their campaign has gained momentum, right? Similarly, we hear that all the time when it's related to sports, that a certain team has gained momentum, and now that you're at the fourth quarter, it looks like they're going to pull through because they've gained momentum. So we have this understanding about how momentum works. But again, the physics of momentum, it says that momentum is mass times velocity. So let's understand that a little bit more. Because we recognize that momentum is what gives something speed, something is moving forward in a specific direction. But this mass times velocity is interesting, right? Because I could have a roller skate and I could have a truck. Now, both of them can demonstrate this principle of momentum. But we would automatically say that the truck is faster than the roller skate. Yes, yes? But why is the truck faster than the roller skate? It's because of the mass. What's interesting is that mass is what can then create more speed and then allow one object to gain more momentum than another. But what's interesting is if that truck is moving slow, say 1 mile an hour, the roller skate could actually gain more momentum and move past the truck. Yes, yes? Beautiful. Okay, so we understand mass times velocity equals momentum, right? So what we could also do then think about, if we wanted to make that roller skate faster, we would need to build a bigger roller skate, okay? Not that it's bigger in size, but that its mass would have to be increased in some way in order for that roller skate to move faster. So if we understand this principle, and if it operates in the physical world, this principle is also true in the non-physical world. The principle of correspondence, according to the Kabbalion, it says that as above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. Now what that really is saying is that at every level of existence, physical and non-physical, there are universal laws that are always in play at the same time. So if mass times velocity equals momentum is true in the physical world, that must also be true in the non-physical world. So when we're talking about the physics of gratitude, then, we can begin to look and see that how our gratitude works has a lot to do with this thing called momentum. Abraham talks often about momentum, and it's so important. Because what's interesting then is that as we're focusing and thinking about gratitude, the reason why it works, the reason why we can thank and grow rich is because whatever we put our attention on, it would be like we had a cart and we start out in this place, we start out in the world with empty carts. But as we add gratitude to the cart, we add mass to the cart. As we add mass to the cart can move faster than the empty cart. And so this is why teachers, including myself and Pastor Yolanda, admonish you all the time to stay in gratitude, to come back to gratitude, to focus on one thing that you can be thankful for. This is why I always share the principle that with gratitude, it's not about that it has to be profound, it has to be specific. And using this equation, see, sometimes we think, oh, well, I have to be fast, I have to have velocity, and then that's how I get momentum. But momentum is not just about speed or velocity, it's about the mass. You could have a cart that has the ability to go fast, but if there's not anything inside the cart, it's not going to be able to move faster than anything else. Do you hear that? So our gratitude must be specific, and that's why we can start small. We can start with just realizing that we're breathing in air. We can start with realizing that gravity still works and we're standing and not floating around the planet. We can think about, if we're traveling, the fact that we have an awesome subway system, right? We can think about when we're traveling and bring gratitude to our bus drivers or our train conductors who are providing a service for us that we rarely think about, right? We rarely put our gratitude on those men and women, right? But we know how to complain when things ain't working right with MTA, right? Interesting, right? Specific, not profound. Why does it need to be specific? Because as you're being specific, then you're putting specific things in your cart, creating more mass. You get it? Beautiful. So the other thing that's interesting then when we think about this idea of the physics of gratitude, this also helps us then to understand why sometimes even when we're grateful, things don't really still work out the way we want. And I think the reason for that is because we've come to a misunderstanding about gratitude. I was thinking for myself, I realized that a lot of what we learn about gratitude and what I learned about gratitude was mixed and colored with shame. What does that look like? Again, maybe this was just me, but when I would spend summers at my grandmother's house, she would always make frozen mixed vegetables, and I, to this day, do not enjoy mixed vegetables. I would eat everything on my plate except those mixed vegetables, and I would have to sit there at the table till I finished. And many a night, The dishes would be washed, everything would be done. I'd be sitting there with just the oven light on, and the whole kitchen light wouldn't even be on anymore. And I'm sitting there with a plate of food, right? Or the vegetables, right? Now that was rooted in this idea that I wasn't being grateful, right? That, do you realize there are children all over this planet that don't have enough to eat, and you're not going to eat this food? You know, you're ungrateful. Do you realize your grandmother cooked for you and provide, you know, all these things, right? It could be other situations where we were shamed that, you know, your father worked so hard, your mother worked so hard, and you don't appreciate this thing. And so gratitude was taught to us from the shaming place. Now, what's interesting about that is then when we think about what we're putting in our cart, we're also putting shame in our cart. And so what begins to happen in our lives is, although we think we're being grateful, although we think we're just demonstrating gratitude because it's how we were taught, what has mass times velocity is gratitude mixed with shame. Gratitude mixed with, there are other people that aren't doing as well as you, so you should be grateful. In the Gratitude Without Conditions message, I highlighted the gospel song, which is you know, a beloved gospel song, Thank You, by Walter Hawkins. But it's problematic because it's rooted in this whole idea. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me, because there are tragedies in all other places. It could have been me outdoors with no food and no clothes. But thank you, God, because it's not me, which also then implies that somehow God treats certain people special over others. Now, Walter Hawkins has another song which is rooted in the same idea, and it sounds so good. Be Grateful is a beautiful song, sounding wise. But it's rooted in the same idea, and it takes us even further into lack and limitation, because it starts off by saying that God never promised us sunshine. God never promised that everything was going to be good and wonderful for you, but just promised that you'll just get a little rest. And so under this skimpy, menial idea of life, then you must be grateful for whatever you have, because that God didn't promise that life would be amazing. God didn't promise that you would thrive. So be grateful, because there's someone that wishes they were in your shoes. There's somebody that is worse off than you. Be grateful. And so then out of our gratitude, that's what we put in our cart. Mass times velocity and gain momentum in our lives. And then we wonder why life may not be turning out the way that we want it to. So we recognize then that gratitude or appreciation, which is another good word to use, maybe if gratitude or thanksgiving or thankfulness, if those have certain meanings that we want to get rid of, appreciation. Me not eating those vegetables, it wasn't that I wasn't in appreciation for my grandmother. I love her and I enjoy her food. My grandmother's an amazing cook. I just don't like them frozen mixed vegetables. Right? And so even there we get to understand and see that life is full of choice and preference, and it's okay. One of the things that I did with my daughter from the time she could, think really, think well. I mean, from a very young, maybe like 1 year old, she was very clear about what she liked to wear and what she didn't like to wear. And so, I always give her choice, and I made sure that from a very early age that I taught her choice and gave her choice as much as possible. And in the situations where I couldn't, I would say to her, okay, Malcolm, this is a situation. Daddy can't give you a choice. You have to trust Daddy here. This is what we have to do this time, right? But she could appreciate that because in so many other areas of her life, I was giving her choice, teaching her that it's okay, right? It's not, well, I picked out these clothes for you, so you got to wear them, right? And again, all of that is colored in this idea of, not being grateful. So we have this awesome opportunity to do that with our children now, but we also have the opportunity to do that with ourselves, right? So it's okay to have preference. It's okay to be clear about the things that you want versus the things that you don't want. And then you can be in pure gratitude because you recognize the things that you like, you recognize the things that you want, you recognize those things are here in my life and I put my focus and attention on it. Why do we do that? Because you're putting that in your cart, you're creating mass times velocity, you're creating momentum so that more things that match that same feeling will show up in your life. That's the reason we practice gratitude. That's it. That's what it does. You got to go back to the message from earlier this year. Gratitude is not for God. I talked about that, right? It's not about God. God doesn't need our gratitude. Let's just think about it for a second, right? God is everyone and everything. It is all things, right? It is the entire universe, known and beyond. We know of, I think at this point, trillions of galaxies, right? Do you think that the thing, the mind, which conceived and created of all of those things, all that we know, needs you to be thankful for it? Do you think that the all that is needs your praise and thanksgiving? Like, that's going to make a difference to it. Like, it's not going to be as amazing and awesome as it is because you didn't say thank you. It's not for God. It's for us. Because when we're not in the vibration of gratitude, we're putting something in the cart. Let's hear that. You're always putting something in your cart. That's the way life works. Which means you're always creating momentum around something in your life. And so we need to practice gratitude and be mindful of what we're putting in our cart and create momentum around that. So think for a second. What is it that you want to create momentum around in your life? A new home, a new job, a new career, a new lover, a new partner. You want to get married. You want a car. What is it? Well, then it starts for appreciation where you are. If you want a new job, start putting gratitude in that cart for where you are right now. And this is funny. See, this is tricky, and I love this, right? Because you might be thinking, but I hate my job. That's why I want to leave. I don't like my boss. That's why I want to leave, right? I don't like working for someone else. That's why I want to start my own business. And so we get tripped up and think that we shouldn't affirm or say anything good about the place we want to leave because then it's going to lock us there. No, that's not what happens. Any gratitude that you put in the cart, mass times velocity, you're creating momentum around good in your life. And because you are one with God, you are one with the universe, and it knows all of your desires, everything you want, it's going to bring to you everything that matches that feeling. That's why your only job is to get in joy, stay in joy, be in joy, no matter what. So if you're in the unwanted thing, even in your relationships, right? So you may be going through some things with your partner, your spouse, your lover, whomever it may be, and you want things to change. Well, you know how you can change them? Look at what's good. There's a reason why you're with them in the first place, right? There's something you like about them. I don't care what it is. If all it is their smile, but you just go, right, I love his smile. I love her smile. All week. Doesn't have to be profound. It has to be specific. Because you're putting things into that cart, creating mass, which then is going to make that cart move much faster. Do you hear it? You can do that related to the election. There's something good about the election, right? I can put my mind and attention on the fact that I'm able to vote because of my ancestors, right? Wasn't that long ago. Voting Rights Act was in 1965. So I can put my mind on that. I have so much gratitude for my ancestors and all that was done to make sure that Gregory Stamper Jr. can exercise his right to vote as a citizen. Or not, in truth, right? Because it's my right, right? So I can put my mind and attention on that. Last week, in our apartment on our floor, one of our neighbors had a massive party. It was really bad. The cops were called. It sounded like there were 1 trillion people in the apartment, and my head was booming as I tried to sleep. Now, the way we do gratitude sometimes, how we include the unwanted thing. Now, I could say, I'm so glad my neighbors didn't have a party last night. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful that my neighbors did not have a party last night. You hear it? Colored in that gratitude is the unwanted thing. I put all of that in my cart. I could say, I'm grateful that I had a peaceful night's sleep last night. which doesn't include anything about the unwanted thing. It doesn't include my annoyance with my neighbor, but it brings my focus and gratitude on the fact that I feel good about having a peaceful night's sleep. And that's true every night, right? I feel good about that every night. It has nothing to do with a party going on or not going on. But now what's in my cart is the vibration of a peaceful night's sleep. And so that's the momentum that I'm creating in my life. You hear it. And so this is where gratitude can be subtle. And again, I think it's because of how we've learned gratitude. Again, we learned it was colored with shame from the very beginning. It was colored with lack from the very beginning. If you grew up in a traditional Christian background, there was always the ideas of, God, I'm not worthy. You didn't have to do it, but you did. The idea that Jesus was a superhero who sacrificed himself for you, and there's no way you could ever repay this ultimate sacrifice, and so that's why I'm grateful. First of all, the Jesus story is a symbolic story, right? Second of all, the Christ lives within you. So the only thing that needs to take place is for you to recognize that the Christ is within you and allow that energy to develop so that you understand that you are one with God, just as Jesus said, I and the Father are one. But again, pointed us in the same place and said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Greater works than these will you do also. Very clear that we're comrades, that we're cut from the same cloth. So we can let go of the story that there was some superhero who died for us, and now we have to be in ultimate gratitude because he paid a debt he did not owe. It's a song we used to sing back in the day. There was no debt paid, and there's no debt owed. That's why gratitude's not for God, but it is for all of us. And so now that we understand the physics of gratitude, now that we understand that it's mass times velocity, and we recognize now that the mass is our thoughts. The mass is what we're putting into our cart. The mass is what we're putting into the universe. Now that you know you have a cart, it's time to think about what you're going to put in it. Pam Growder is going to support us this month in doing that. 30 days. Every day for the rest of this month, we're going to share with each other, whether you're in the group or not. Find someone to text your gratitude. You don't even have to explain to them what you're doing. Just, I'm doing something for 30 days. Can you just be a witness? And you have to post 3 things that you're grateful for, and they have to be different across the 30 days. This is awesome, right? Because I know I can get in the habit of saying my gratitudes for the same stuff all the time. Yes, I'm always grateful for the air that I'm breathing, but there's a whole bunch of other things, right? Like really, yes, I'm grateful to have clothes, I'm grateful to have a home, but there's a whole lot of other things. The other thing we're admonished to do, and this is important, is that we do this first thing in the morning. What Pam Grout writes in the book is that even before you get out of bed, just declare that something amazingly awesome is going to happen today. Because what we know to be true is the side of the bed that you get out on is the side of the bed the rest of your day is going to flow from, right? This is why we talk about, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and everything flows from that energy. But you have the power. You're the one that turns the key on the car of your day. And that's what gratitude is doing. It's turning the key. Once you turn the key, the car does everything it needs to do. Our TM teacher last week, Ralph Emmerich, was talking about that related to the transcendental meditation process. But it's the same thing with gratitude. That we start our day with gratitude, the very thing, first thing in the morning, something amazingly awesome is going to happen today, and then we post or share 3 things that we're grateful for that we consider amazingly awesome blessings. You're starting the car. The car does the rest. Right? You don't have to get in the engine and talk to it and coax it and make sure, hopefully not, you get it, right? Right? And coax it or, talk to the windshield wipers. Okay, give them a pep talk. It's raining today, You don't have to do any of those things. You just turn the car. You turn the key. This is what your gratitude is doing. This is how life can really be easy, really simple. And as you're reading the book, Pam Grout is just unapologetic. She says, I don't have 7 steps for you. I don't have a amazing process for you. What I know to be true, my life has proven it to me, that when I'm operating in gratitude, things begin to show up in my life. You can call them miracles, call them answered prayers, call it magic, call it whatever you want. All I know is it works. I know it works so much that I'm going to write a book and call it Thank and Grow Rich. In any and every area of your life. If you want to be rich in love, thank and grow rich. If you want to be rich in your finances, if you want more dollars in your experience, thank and grow rich. If you need healing in your life, in your mind, in your body, in your relationships, thank and grow rich. Because you have this gratitude cart. And now we know what to fill it up with. I'm inviting everybody to stand in this moment. You know what to fill it up with. We can all recognize where we thought maybe that thing we filled it up with was a half gratitude, something that we were thankful with, but it was also rooted in shame. It was a half gratitude because there was something that we were thankful for, but it was also rooted in limitation. It was a half gratitude because it was something that we were thankful with, but it was also rooted in the idea of, oh no, I might not have enough. So I'm thankful for this thing because it could run out. I'm scared if I don't say thank you, I might lose this job. I might lose this new raise. I might lose this extra money that just showed up. If I'm not grateful, I don't know what might happen. I got to stay in gratitude now because all of a sudden I have more dates than I've ever had before. And if I'm not thankful, I might lose all of these people. The universe is infinite. There is no loss in the mind of God, and nothing is ever lost in spirit. So we are not going to stand or put gratitude with limitation in our card. We're not going to put gratitude mixed with smallness in our card. We're not going to put gratitude mixed with shame in our card. But we're going to focus on what's specific. Because we recognize as we put that in our cart, it increases the momentum. Mother, Father, God, we are grateful and thankful to be here in a place, in a space where we are able to operate in this vibration of gratitude without conditions, that we are able to operate in this vibration of gratitude without explanation. Because we are in a place called Celebration Spiritual Center, which celebrates life itself. We are so grateful that we don't have to explain ourselves here, but we can just be grateful. We are so grateful and thankful in this moment to have the opportunity to practice and prove this principle for 30 days. We forgive ourselves in this moment and we set ourselves free for all of the times that we put gratitude in our cart that was mixed with judgment. We forgive ourselves and we set ourselves free for all the times that we put gratitude in our cart, but it was mixed with lack. We forgive ourselves and we set ourselves free for any time that we put gratitude in our cart and it was mixed with blame or shame. We let it go. We empty the cart now and we start fresh. I am so grateful to know that at any moment we can start fresh. Because the only momentum that matters is the momentum we create from now. As soon as you throw everything away out of that cart and empty the cart so that you can put new things in, the universe now pays attention only to the new things in the cart. So from this moment forward, for 30 days, we are determined to create a new vibration, a new momentum of gratitude that is not necessarily profound, but oh, is it specific? Because we recognize that we have much to be grateful for. We recognize that there is much that is good in our lives. I am so grateful and thankful for all of the persons here in this space and within the sound of my voice. I am grateful for the ways in which we together will collectively witness the power of gratitude. I am grateful, and I speak it now, for the miracles and answered prayers and the healings and the transformations and the unexpected money and the new opportunities and the new partners and the new jobs and the new careers that come forth through this community as we together put our minds for 30 days on this principle of gratitude. I give thanks for it now, because I don't have to see it with my physical eyes, but I know the power of this principle. Therefore, I know that any person that practices this principle will receive blessings upon blessings upon blessings upon blessings upon blessings. We now put our attention and we open our eyes and look for more things to be grateful for. We put our attention on the things that we had simply overlooked. We put our attention on the things that we had simply taken for granted. We put our attention on the things that have been so consistent in our lives that we forgot that we actually need to be grateful for this thing as well. We put our attention on all of the ways that you are showing up in and as our lives and through our lives. The blessings, the miracles, and the answered prayers. I release this prayer now with expectation and with joy. And together we say amen, amen. Ashe. Ashe. And so it is. So it is. Thank you, God.